just like that, Kevin.
Okay? Thank you.
Oh,
Can't see that from my end.
well. You hold. Joni just walked out, Lori.
Okay?
So I assume the board meeting is over?
I think we'll keep going. At this, can we keep going, Lori? We just had the presentation at this point. We don't have any,
There's nothing we can vote on, yes, if they left. But you can, is there anything that you would like to give a report on?
we have lots of stuff to give reports on. I think we'll do that for the people that are here. So let's,
People that are here, so if you would like to give your reports, you and Brent, you are welcome to.
so do we want to go to the consent agenda? Or the department reports? Or we could go straight.
Well, the consent agenda has to be approved, but, you are welcome, Brent, to give your CEO and COO reports. You can do that,
We have a finance PowerPoint.
and I would go ahead and give those. Those kinds of things are just presentations, and your reports, you are free to begin.
Okay, we'll get the PowerPoint up on the computer and do that.
Okay? Let's go right ahead.
Jonathan?
Thank you.
Question? If I may? Will we be,
Yes.
will anyone be able to review any of those action items listed there, like church CNO update, human resources update, et cetera? Can anybody touch on any of those topics as part of the meeting, or is that null and void at this time?
The consent agenda is an action item that are action items by the board. So without them here, we cannot.
I have a question then. What are your rules for quorum? How many is quorum?
3. We have to have 3. Lori can't vote as chair.
Right, so there was quorum when the meeting was open, so actions and decisions can continue to be made, even if
You leave.
voting members have left the meeting. That is my understanding of the law in that regard.
I can't hear what he's saying at all.
I'm sorry. My understanding is that if quorum is present at the opening of a meeting, that actions by the board can continue to be taken or decisions made even if quorum is lost over the course of the meeting. I don't know if your bylaws speak specifically to that or are silent on that.
Brenda, I don't know if our bylaws speak to that. You have a copy?
In the past, they've had board meetings with a quorum of 3. The two remaining vote. And if there is a tie, then the chair would both vote. But they have had meetings in the past with just 3, because with 3 the quorum. I don't know, whatever you think.
I think go ahead and approve the consent agenda and we can do the department reports. That's just my suggestion.
Okay. All right. I'm going to proceed with the department reports.
Need to approve the August 30th minutes, unless I missed that motion with the discontinuation.
Lori, if you wanna go to consent agenda A, that's where we're at.
To approve the consent agenda or the amendments?
The minutes first.
Approval, yes. I'll need a motion to approve the minutes from August 30th.
I'll make a motion, Aaron.
I'll second.
Okay, then I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Minutes are approved. And then do we want to, just approve the consent agenda, or is there anything in there, Megan, that you want to bring forward?
Are you?
In the departmental reports, is there anything in particular?
Yeah, Ashley Ward is here as chief nursing officer, so she can give her update.
Great, let's do that.
Okay, so we hired 3 new CNAs for the floor. A couple RNs that we've hired are gonna go to nights. They were orientating on day shifts. They'll be going to nights. They're both doing great. I just interviewed and hired another RN, that's going to work nights. She's gonna train for OB and ER eventually. It's been a while since she's worked in the acute care setting, so she's gonna get her feet under her and then train to those areas. We've had a new OB-GYN doctor, Dr. Orange, has come on with us. She's great. She did 2 cases this last time when she was here, and is doing wonderful. I'm just hitting the high points. If you guys have any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask. We're just looking for staff and carrying on, taking care of patients.
That is great. So as far as staffing, with our nursing staff, so far things are fine. Correct?
We still have some open areas, but it's getting there.
How many travelers do we have at this point?
We have 1 traveler in med-surg right now, and I'm hiring a med-surg/ER traveler for night shift.
Okay,
So 2.
okay,
We will have 2.
all right.
Hey,
Okay,
Ashley,
Yeah,
has there been anybody leave in the last 4 weeks or so?
no.
That's a good change.
yes.
Actually, people have wanted to come back that left a while back, so we have some.
Yeah, we've had a couple new hires that have come back to us here recently.
That's good. All right. Thank you, Ashley. Going on down here with our consent agenda, is there anything else in particular there that we need to discuss?
Angela.
Megan, that you want to bring forward?
She just put food in her mouth, but I think you should report on the good news that you have in your department.
I hired a new senior biller today, or another senior biller today, and another coder today, so that is
We're
helping fill.
continuing to circle our revenue cycle
Yes,
into a closed circle, so we're
Yes.
getting money in faster and
yes,
it's going well there too.
yes.
Just give me this way.
Going good. Thank you.
Good. In our HR, I noticed we had several new hires also.
Yeah, we had, for last month I had 5, I had 1 at the end of, or I had 4 at the end of the month, but they didn't fall into this report. I actually have 6 scheduled for next week, so in the last month we brought in 10 total. But in my report, there's a nice human interest story there that I just briefly want to speak on. We've been working, back in February, we started working with a group called Hometown Housing to help find home loans for those working class people who just can't seem to get a little kitty built up to put that down payment down. they come in 2 weeks ago and did a nice human interest story on an employee that they were able to help her secure her forever home, which was really nice for one of our employees. They've worked with another one of our employees and helped them secure their loan, and I know they're currently working with 4 others. So it's been a nice asset that's been added to a benefit to the employees. These guys look outside of the box and look outside of just the regular home loan, and failure's not an option for them, is kind of how they look at it. So they've really given some nice benefits to our employees and helped several families out.
Is there a fund
That's
we,
good.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but is there a fund we can donate to help with that process so that there's, you know, the down payment?
They still actually go through banks and loan mortgage places, but they don't rely just locally, so they actually do all the legwork outside of the area. You know, if your local bank tells you no, if you got bad credit, they do really well at working with you and set up, you know, kind of that money management type thing they've worked with some of our staff on. So this is free to us. I mean, we haven't had to pay for them to come in and assist. I know that they, when they first came in, they came out here to the hospital as a big employer. They also went to the school, and then just some of the surrounding counties through Tri-County Electric kind of helped set it up for our counties. So it's just some of our employees have already got to benefit from it. So it's been nice to congratulate those homeowners.
It's great.
That's good.
Am I allowed to ask a question? These new hires, are they filling existing vacancies, or are some of these newly created positions?
The ones that we're currently hiring are filling existing vacancies in the clinic, on the floor, nurses, MAs, those sort of things that we've been trying to fill for a while.
All right, thank you.
All right, Lori, I think that's it for, that section B there, so we can move to finance.
All right.
Anna is our staff accountant. And she will give a little financial overview of where we stand right now.
Okay, great.
Can you guys see that at home, Lori? The presentation, can you see the presentation, Lori?
I've got it, so,
Okay. Travis, can you see the presentation? It says September 22 board meeting.
yeah.
I had it for a second, but I don't know what I did to lose it.
I think we may have emailed you my documents as well.
I'll get it off my.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, this is an overview, thank you. You can see the actual in orange, and in blue is what we budgeted for. You can see a lot of the departments.
Anna, can I interrupt really quick? Is this expenses or revenue or what are we looking at?
This is overview, so this is expenses and revenues combined. So for instance, wound care here, you can see actual is greater than budget. So that would show us that we are generating more revenue than projected, and expenses are down. So when you combine expenses and revenues, that is what this chart is showing.
What period does this chart cover?
This is for July through August of 2022.
Why does Med-Surg appear to have a negative number?
Med-Surg is on paper losing us money. The expenses outweigh the revenues.
Okay, thank you.
And I did also add this hospital here. This is the hospital pharmacy, not MCP. That's not covered, the MCP is not covered in this presentation at all. And these are not all the departments. There were a couple that have higher amounts, so they wouldn't fit the scale, and they're on the next slide. You guys are ready? So there is lab. The budget is greater than actual, but they're still generating revenue. Another big question you might have is other revenue. We have not closed the books for the fiscal year of 22, which ended June 30th. So there is not grant revenue, consulting revenue, and depreciation. Those are some big factors that are not included in other revenue at this point.
What is-
Also going forward, so closing the books, that hasn't been done, like the end of period, but going forward as well, that hasn't been, the actual hasn't been calculated, only the budget projection has been included.
What does MMS stand for on here?
That's the clinic.
Memphis Medical.
Okay.
Memphis Medical Services.
And LMS was on the previous slide. Continuing with the overview, these are contractuals, miscellaneous, which includes depreciation, service departments. So the contractuals is a big one. We have adjusted off more than we were anticipating. Service department's expenses are less than anticipated though. We're doing good there.
What's an example of contractuals? What does that include as a, I mean,
So
I know it's a lot.
That includes bad debt, adjustments for insurance. And an adjustment for insurance would be if we weren't to get, so Medicare and Medicaid allow you a year of timely filing. So if we were to make an error and not able to get a claim paid by insurance in time, we would have to adjust it off. So that would be an example of that. There's also, like I said, bad debt, timely filing. The next two, I believe, slides are strictly revenue. So you can look to see, lab is a big one, a big revenue generator. We aren't bringing in as much as projected, but still a large amount. OB, they were projected to be costing us money. But the department has actually made us quite a bit of money. And I can provide those numbers if anyone wants to hear them. So projected revenue for the 2 months was 33,000 estimate, and they have generated 68,000 in revenue.
And that's for July and August.
July and August. 2
That's the
months.
department we were gonna close.
Yeah.
Correct. Here are expenses. As an overview of the expenses, we are about $1 million, I believe. 1.3 million under budget, so we are spending less on expenses than we budgeted for.
Another question, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get educated here. As somebody who has specialized in geriatric care the last several years, can you explain about your geriatric psych section is
So
about there?
that is Senior Life Solutions. It's a group, you have to have Medicare as an insurance source, and it takes place out here in our annex building, and they have Monday, Wednesday, Friday group services for seniors. I don't know if anyone in here can speak. Can you speak to that?
So are they actually doing mental health services?
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's mental health services, they do a bunch of different types of services for our patients that are over 65, or on Medicare, and so what they do is they provide group counseling, individual counseling, and then there's like a psychiatrist that's involved as well, and so they provide medication support.
What's the role the psychiatrist is playing?
Uh,
Actually providing counseling, I mean, providing physician-oriented services via like telehealth or?
yes, I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
Even like we talked about OB, that's kind of a big one that's been talked about. They are costing us less than we budgeted. Expenses are below budget.
Reducing traveling nurses, although we love them, has helped with
Right.
their expenses.
This is the last slide. So med-surg, she just talked about hiring more traveling nurses. That's, you could say that's what's killing med-surg, but if you look at expenses, they're pretty equal. They don't help, but it is bringing in, you know, more revenue to have those services available, keep our volume up. Any more questions, any slides I need to return to?
Thank you.
Anna is gonna work towards her CPA, so we're excited about that too.
Yeah.
Expenses are 1 million under budget for July and August. That is projected to be 6 million under budget. How did you achieve those savings? Well, the budget's just a projection from department heads.
And we will be addressing a budget probably, once we get the audit done, we will probably come to the board with a new budget, so that's a moving target at this point. Thank you, Anna. And then Lori, the accounts payable there too. I don't know if you wanna move on that or
Say again?
the accounts payable.
I'm not sure we should at this point.
So we'll move on, or you wanna move to my report then?
I think we better move to administrative reports.
Alright. So we, amended our Medicaid cost report and it was refiled through BKD, for our 6/30/2020 and our through the 6/30/2021 fiscal year. We had to, adjust the Medicaid cost report due to an adjustment on our, for a grant that we applied for through the USDA. So that has been, submitted, so we're waiting to hear back on that. I have a 340B update, and you guys can't see this, but our projected revenue for our 340B program, now that we have all the contracts, active and in place, is 1.3 million for the year. So we will probably be contracting with Scotland, Knox, Clark, Hy-Vee, and Kirksville Pharmacy. And the projected revenues from our 340B consultant shows that we will make a projected revenue of 1.3 million from the 340B, so that's another positive for us. I did want to talk about the Scotland County Hospital Foundation Board and how we would like to restructure it. Elisa helped me out to get some but state hospital foundations around the state and one in Iowa. So kind of an average number of members for those. Right now, we just have 2 board of directors on our foundation. We would like to restructure to 9 to include 2 hospital board members, 2 hospital staff members, 2 community members, 2 members of the Mennonite community, and 1 Scotland County Care Center board member to restructure for our foundation moving forward. So that's something we will be looking at in the next few weeks to confirm that. Moving on, the audit, we have the engagement letter for BKD. One of the concerns that we do have is a new, well, it's not new, it's 5 years old, but gas fee 87, and it's a way that our financials will look for capital lease conversions. They presented it in 18, so we've had, a few years to get it implemented here, and we haven't done that yet. And it was supposed to be implemented for this fiscal year, so that's some work we're gonna have to put in on the accounting side. I don't know if anyone has heard of GASB 87, but
No.
it is a lease accounting standard for governmental organizations. So that's something Akeem will be working on, and he's familiar with how that works. So Lori, I do have the engagement letter for BKD, and I guess I'll drop that off to you or scan it to you. What's the easiest way to do
Yes.
that? Okay.
We'll talk about that. Okay.
And then the USDA grant closes, we close on October 7th. We'll be granted $754,010 from the USDA. And that again closes on October 7th. So that's money we can use towards capital equipment. And we're upgrading our EMR, so that's a big cost that will help us with also. All right, I am excited to talk about my vision. What?
Okay.
Okay, my visionary report, it's kind of just a big idea report that I have. We're actually working with the Scotland County Care Center, and Brent and I have discussed working with them to get them back on board. We're excited to work with them. We've even discussed getting our nursing home administrative licenses. If we can help out in any way, we're working towards that. Working with them to get at least the RCF open now and work on the other parts of the nursing home later. I think it's obvious that we need their support and we need our support, so working to get them open will help our team and theirs. Their meetings are tomorrow, the day after ours, so we'll be attending those meetings and working with them as we can. We've also discussed using the whole campus and giving it a new name. I would welcome any comments on what our campus name should be. I wrote down a couple things: Scotland County Health Campus, Scotland County Health Oasis. So just to include all of our services. Speaking of the geriatric psych, we actually talked about moving them to the care center. It's easier access to get in there versus our steps in our building out here. So we're looking into different ways we can use the whole campus to better everyone. I'm excited about our future and working with everyone on this team. I think it's easy for me to see the teamwork that's going on day to day, and I'm excited. Your turn.
All right. For my report, I talk a lot about physician recruitment. We're looking at expanding our specialty services so that we can allow better care close to home in our community here. So we're always looking at what else we can bring into this hospital to accomplish that. A few different specialties that we're looking at closely is neurology, ENT, maybe some additional general surgery coverage to help Dr. Miller Parrish out a bit. Some OBGYN coverage, family practice with OB. We have a new nurse practitioner starting next week. Her name is Brandy Tagg. She will be helping Dr. Wilson out in the hospital. And then some other things, ideas that have floated around. We've received communication from a company called Miracle Ear. I think they're hearing aid specialists, and they provide hearing aid services, and they've expressed interest in working with us, so I would like to entertain that idea. Then I guess moving on to we have a rural health clinic update. Our Waiakanda building in Waiakanda is in need of some repairs, and the city of Waiakanda has been very gracious to allow us to use that building, and it's becoming a little too much for them to handle, and so they have reached out to me and said that their city council is going to have a meeting to discuss the possibility of just gifting us that building so that we can utilize that in their city, right, to provide services. So I will be attending their board meeting in October, and we'll discuss that a little bit. So we'll see where that leads. Just a quick maintenance overview. We had some damage with that hailstorm not too long ago. Our awning over the OB center got damaged, so we're looking at repairs that need to be done there. Radiology update, we have our MRI services are going to be upgraded at no additional cost to us, but the services will be more clear. From what I can see in the imaging, I'm not a physician, so I couldn't speak to it as well as some of our other providers, but it seemed very nice to me, and there's supposed to be an upgrade in comfort as well to the patient. The only thing we had to rearrange for them was our day that they come out. Instead of being here on Tuesdays, they're going to come out on Mondays, but to accommodate patients that need arthrograms, they are willing to work with us to come out on Tuesdays when our radiologists are here. Update on the lab, our blood gas analyzer is kind of giving us some problems coming on and off with its functionality, so we're looking at upgrading to a new one. It was approved for this year's budget, so we're just looking at doing that sooner than later because it's given us quite a few problems. Monthly health initiatives, we've been meeting every month on different monthly health initiatives that we want to do in the community to raise awareness for different types of medical services that we provide here at Scotland County Hospital. Next month we are going to be doing a PSA and A1C labs at Country View. Cholesterol and PSA screenings. And then also in the month of October, we're working on something where we can incentivize people to come in and get mammograms done. So we're working on that, and with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So those are just a few things we're working on in that department. Currently working on some of our lockbox stuff, especially with Commerce Bank, trying to come up with a better, more efficient process with getting some of our payments in from insurance companies. Let's see what else I have. And then I just kind of give you a quick overview of what we have in our bank account at Bank of Kirksville. It's in our packet for anyone to take a look at. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Brent. All right, I think we'll skip down to our organization chart and kind of take a look at it. And do you have that chart in front of you?
Yes.
Board? I believe that's under tab 7. Megan, do you want to address that a little bit?
Yeah, we, actually, Lisa, you probably can talk more about the specific changes we made. We moved quality.
Yeah, quality is now underneath the nursing officer because it is an RN that's gonna be taking over that quality role. And so quality is throughout the facility, but it focuses a lot on patient care and that sort of thing. So we felt like it was better served underneath that officer. We also moved a couple other things around, materials management, just because that does deal with a lot of purchasing and finance, so we moved that underneath the finance director as well. What am I missing? Compliance, I think that's kind of gonna fall, that's gonna fall underneath nursing as well, that there's just a switch in the actual officer. And so since the compliance officer is already underneath Ashley, it just is more logical to have that underneath Ashley from a nursing officer standpoint.
Those are probably the major changes that we made. We didn't make any others.
No, the rest of it looks pretty much the same.
add, Director of IT to the senior leadership team. We just felt
Yes.
like it would be important to include IT, especially if we're moving to a new EMR in the leadership, discussions.
Mhm. Yes. Definitely is an important part of leadership. All right. Do we want to take a look at the bylaws? This is kind of a funky thing here. Do we want to look at this hospital bylaws or wait until that next meeting?
I think we have to wait. Since
I think we have to wait.
we don't have a.
I think we do too. I think we do too. I think we do too. We had already set up that next meeting, you know, we had talked about meeting twice a month. So I think we'll hold that. Okay? Until that next meeting. Looking under governance, we had some pretty good articles there under boardroom press. And you haven't had time to read the whole article, I suggest you do. There's some really good information there. We do have the Sunshine Law education. You asked about that, I believe, Mr. Carlton. And we do have that scheduled for the board that we will be participating in. And that is scheduled for October the 27th. So we will be participating in that class. And that is scheduled for 5:30. Anything else under governance there that you want to mention there, Megan?
Nope.
Lori, this is Brenda. I've mentioned that we also received a second invitation for a Sunshine Law review from the NEMOnews and Media Group and the Edina Sentinel. That's on there too. The board members are invited to attend that in Edina on November the 3rd. And there's, I've submitted.
Do you have a,
Pardon?
do we have a time on that?
Yes, it's a luncheon meeting or a luncheon at noon on November the 3rd, followed by the meeting or the presentation to begin at 1. So
Okay.
I will be sending out the RSVP deadline reminder for the board members, but that's in your packets. Everybody got that in their
Okay.
packets.
All right. Good. All right. Okay, is there any other information tonight that we need to go over? Megan or Brent?
Nope, just, we'll have to move the bylaws to when we have a quorum.
Yes, we will do that. And
I don't have anything else.
I'm not even sure that we need a motion to adjourn. We don't have a quorum. Correct?
Oh, I don't know if we can.
I don't think we can.
I think we're just gonna have to post our next meeting, and then when we walk into that one, we'll have to, close this one and open that one.
I think you can tentatively retire and reconvene on your October 11th.
I think we can.
That's been.
I think we can do that.
And just have that a continuation of this meeting.
Yes.
October 11th.
Consider.
Yep.
All right. I think that's what we do. And we do that on our next meeting. Correct? I don't think we have much other choice.
Thanks,
So-
Lori.
We thank everyone for coming.